So good to have you here, Donna, this morning. How are you doing?
Great. Really
Awesome.
good. Yeah.
Awesome. So Donna's been with me on my Hormonal2Hot journey for the last 4 months, I guess.
Yeah, 4 months now. Yeah.
Now, so Donna, I just want to have a little chat to you about where you were at when you first came in and what you kind of changed and your experience and how you're feeling now. So I remember that conversation we had way back in about October about how you were feeling. Tell me how you were feeling leading into that phone call, and what made you want to book a call and just, do something.
I think probably the best way to describe it when I look back now was I was just lost, really. And I don't know whether I was depressed, because I'm not really sure what depression is, because I had so many good things going on, but deep down somewhere I was just feeling really hopeless. And yeah, basically I think I was kind of looking for something, and I needed inspiration, I needed motivation, I needed basically something to get my teeth stuck into, because I really didn't know what I was going to do next. And yeah, I've been unwell, and yeah, life was just kind of felt like what's around the corner for me. So yeah, and you kind of kept popping up for some reason on Facebook, and there was something that sort of struck me, and I thought, I think this is where I need to go. And it was kind of a very impulsive, one day I just picked up the phone and put in my details, and before I knew it, that's how it started, really.
Conversation we had. And that's really a good point, because you actually do have to just take some action. Otherwise, you're going to flounder, you're going to continue to drown in a sea of whatever it is, because you don't really know what it is, right?
That's it. And that's probably what it was. I felt like I was drowning. I just didn't feel, I was unhappy, but then I wasn't. And I was just really confused about everything. And yeah, just needed some direction, is kind of, and now that I've done this, it probably was hormonal. It was, I wasn't eating properly, wasn't eating enough. So then that didn't help with the whole headspace. As soon as I basically started following the program and thinking about what I ate, probably quantity was my big issue, and it was never about weight, but it was about that I didn't have the motivation. I didn't feel, I guess some people go to food to make themselves feel better. I probably tend to go the other way and not eat, then eat the wrong thing. So I was sort of yo-yoing up and down, with sugar levels and that sort of thing, definitely.
Because, the closer you get to that age, to that 50 number, or even on the other side of it, hormones play such a role in the way your body responds to stress, to lack of sleep. And we don't realize how important that is to your general well-being and to your, how you feel physically, emotionally. So what kind of needed to change? What were the little things that changed? Because they were really just minute things, weren't they? Micro changes.
Totally. It really wasn't that different to what I knew. I just lost my way, really. I just really had lost my way. It was always about my sport, and with sport I knew I had to eat, and basically I always did what I wanted to do when I wanted to do it, and all of a sudden I couldn't, and it was kind of like, now what I do, I don't knit, and I don't read, and I don't, like, that doesn't really kind of hit the spot, but golf, or like, it just wasn't me. Basically it was really just that whole thinking about how to eat food, really. I was never scared of bread or carbs, I guess, anyway, because endurance sport I needed those, but it was when to eat them, and how to eat them, and making sure, thinking about, going to the fridge and you would grab your fruit and your cheese at the same time. You didn't just have your fruit. And it was, really, that's what it was about. It was really just that whole thinking of carbs and fruit and fat all at the same time, none of this one at a time thing and lettuce leaves for dinner because you'd had a bad day, and you really just had to eat lettuce leaves and then wonder why you can't sleep at night. I know I had plenty of nights where I was at 2:00 in the morning awake, and now I know why. It was just kind of like I'd be up and it'd be like, oh my God, all I want is toast and coffee. It's just that whole thing of, just not eating right. And now I'm just like, it's just totally different. The only thing that wakes me up is a cat or a dog or I really don't wake myself up now.
You used to. I guess it comes down to these words. I can think of control, like you've got that control back.
Totally.
You've got structure back, so you know how to structure things. All you needed was that guidance and that support and a pathway to get there and to piece everything together, because you're a very ambitious, active woman, you want to continue that. And sustainability has always been a big thing to me, and I know it is for you. So it's how to sustain this, right? Yeah.
And I'm kind of like, I think the one thing I did manage to learn really quickly is that the whole thinking about it, I never beat myself up, like if we got an invite to go somewhere, I never freaked out about, oh my God, how am I going to track this or mark that? I just didn't worry about it, because the reality 95% of the time was so good that I didn't actually have to worry about those bad times. And I think, you say it time and time again, don't beat yourself up. And I just think that is the biggest thing. We're so hard on ourselves,
Our own worst critics, right? You wouldn't talk to your friend the way sometimes you talk to yourself. I definitely know that some women are in that place with just so much self-criticism. And we've got to be kind to ourselves, right?
Yeah.
So tell me, because one of the biggest areas I like to work on is identity. Who are you, and who can you become? Who do you want to become? And I think this is something that's been really big for you. What has been your outcome as a result of the path that you followed, physically, mentally, emotionally? Obviously you've got far more energy, you know what you're doing, you've got goals now that you know you can achieve. So tell me about that journey. Like, who have you become?
I think I'm still on my way to that, truthfully. But I guess I was a mum quite young, and I had, ugly divorce and kind of lots of beating myself up for such a long time, and lots of guilt and lots of anger and lots of sort of hurt and all those crushing things. But I think where I've got to now is that stuff, I've definitely learned to let it go. Like and I think it's just because my headspace is so much stronger, like as in, say because I'm not starving myself, because I wasn't starving myself, and that I was starving myself from letting myself go and do what I wanted to do. That was, it was always, I guess as a mum, you always put yourself second,
right? Yeah,
down the food chain. And I think now, like, my girls are like, they've grown up and they live away from home, but they never go away. You're still dealing with whatever their worries are, and you worry every day about them, about something. But I think I've just put myself a lot more first, and my things are just going to take more priority than I've ever let it take in my life, which is that's going to be a work in progress, and not slip back to kind of just, well. Is actually stepping up and saying, nah, this is what I want to do, and this is what I'm going to do, and this is what I have to do to achieve it. Maybe being a little bit more selfish without saying that word, because I don't like that word, but that's, I feel strong, and it's just such a combination of, it still comes down to that eating right, sleeping right, training right, and all those things come together. And you kind of, it's not doing any one thing in particular, really. It's just putting it all together. And if you do have a bad day, like I went to the gym the other day, and gym's not my thing, and I'm quite open about that. To me, if I've got time to go and do something, I'd rather be outside doing it rather than inside in the gym. But I've actually really taken it on, and I do enjoy it now. But I went in the other day, and I shouldn't have gone in the first place because I really wasn't in the mood. And it was hot, and there was a couple of people there that just kind of, I don't know, it just didn't feel right place to be, I guess, bottom line. And I spent about 20 minutes, and I thought, oh, I can't be bothered today. And I walked out, and instead of going to my car, I just carried on walking. And it was just like, I came back to my car and I felt great. And I think it's just that whole thing of not beating yourself up. Yes, you've got to have routine. Yes, you've got to commit, but you've still got to read what floats your boat.
And what your body's telling you on that day. Like, it is okay.
Totally.
To go to the gym. It's okay.
Yeah, totally. But don't go home and sit in front of the TV with a bag of chips, because that's not the right thing to do. But yeah, I think it's the biggest thing I've learned is, don't beat yourself up. And because at the end of the day, you're doing everything right. You're just going to have bad days and you're going to have good days. Just,
Yeah.
like everybody.
You're so clear. You've got so much clarity about what you need to do to get to what you want now.
Yeah. And that's the thing. And now, basically I've kind of come from a triathlon background, and I've done Ironman, and I wanted to do it again a couple of years ago. My health sort of went, no, you're not doing that. But yeah, and like I said to you the other week, you said something about, what floats your boat and what lights a fire in you. And that's what lights my fire. That endurance at the moment, I want it, and the racing I want. And I think it's because I feel so good that actually I want that adrenaline back, and I want that. But I know now that I already feel better. Like I raced last night again, and it's like I know, because during the day I know I've eaten right. I'm not crash burning a white bread sandwich at 4 o'clock thinking, oh, this will get me through my race like I used to, where I've eaten properly all day, and I go there and I'm all fired up and ready to go. And that's what lights my life fire, and that's what I'm just so thriving on.
Cool. It's like you've learned,
but the food's coming first now, right before it didn't. It was like I ate because I was hungry, and I ate whatever I get my hands on, where now it's like I eat because actually I know that's going to work for me.
Yeah. And also, how to fuel your body. Like you've taught your body to use food as fuel so you can get what you want, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's so cool. What would you say to someone who was like sitting on the fence going, oh, I don't know? What would you say to that woman who was in exactly the same position as you, lost, confused, but and not clear about what action to take?
I would say, if you've come across this particular program, or anything really, that if you've seen something, there's a reason you've seen it, and your life feels so out of control that maybe this is the only thing that makes sense, and just go for it. Just take it on board, because you're actually you're ready for something. That's why you've seen it. But because you're so out of control, as in you don't know whether what day of the week it is really, just grab it and go for it, and take it on board and take out of it what works for you, and it will work. It'll work as long as you don't beat yourself up on it, and know that it takes time. Like you say all the time, it took a long time to get into this mess. Is not going to undo itself in 5 minutes. I think personally, mine unraveled. I feel mine unraveled quite quickly because I was so ready for it. And I really did take it on board. And it was the emotional stuff that I wanted. It really came down to food and sleep, and then everything became so much clearer. That's really, and then everything else just fell into place on its own. Yeah.
It's been such a pleasure being working with you, Donna, and seeing your evolvement, your progress, how you've, how far you've come, because you've actually come a long way, like you say, in a quite a short space of time.
Yeah.
And to me, that is just I can't tell you how much that floats my boat. So
Yeah, oh, that's good.
well done. And I'll be watching you, and we'll be in touch. We'll
Yeah. Well, I don't feel like it's over. I feel like my journey's just actually begun. Because this education has got me to this point. Now I just need to add the stuff I want in there and keep my education going. It's just that whole, I definitely know it's not over, and it's not, I don't plan on going back to where I was. But I just do know that if I have a hiccup in life now, that there's more to life than, I've got it together, that's really, I think that's as women, we just, like you say, I think the big thing is not being hard on ourselves. And for some reason, we're put on this planet to care and nurture everybody else, and we just don't nurture ourselves enough. That's what it's, bottom line.
That is a really good statement, and you're dead right. We don't nurture ourselves, and there comes a time in our lives, right, where you're like, I need to do something or I'm not going to survive.
Totally. And you know what, as a woman and as a mum and as a wife and actually I love being that person too. I am a nurturer, and it's okay, and I'm quite proud of that. But it's actually time to be, I can still do that and do me too. That's where I'm at. Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing that, Donna. I really appreciate that.
And thank you. And good luck to all those women out there that are ready to go conquer the world and find ourselves again. That's what it's all about. Yeah.
All about. Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Donna.
Cool. Thank you.
Stay there. I'm just going to stop this.